I bought this original Game Boy on eBay. The seller listed it with a burnt screen, and I wanted to learn how to repair it. Let's go ahead and test it. Well, power's on. Definitely got some screen burn. I don't think that sounds the way it's supposed to. Let's try a different game. Okay, so we got a bad speaker as well. Let's get this disassembled and see if we can figure out the speaker and replace this polarizer. YouTube shows most of y'all skip this part, so I thought I'd use it to talk a bit more about what we're trying to sort out today. So this particular Game Boy has those weird dark patches that kind of looks like it's burned. That's actually not the LCD itself. What's damaged is the polarizer film that sits on the LCD. Every LCD has 2 of these polarizing layers. They control how light passes through the screen so the pixels can show up correctly. But over time, heat from the sun, batteries, or even someone trying to add a backlight to the system is able to cook that film. When that happens, the film will discolor, sometimes it'll even bubble. All you need to do is replace that layer of burnt plastic and we're good to go. I'm going to get more into that in a bit though. These screws all have a little bit of corrosion on them. This thing kind of stinks. I don't know what the smell is, but it just kind of stinks. To start, we need to get this corrosion off this battery post. That might do a lot with the sound quality issue that we're having. I've discovered that oftentimes with these speakers, just cleaning off any corrosion that you find, allowing consistent power delivery throughout the system is enough to get it in good working condition. The other thing, if these are dirty enough, I've noticed that that can make a difference. So we're going to clean this off with some isopropyl alcohol, and I'm just going to take a pick and try to scrape away this corrosion, and we'll see if that does the trick. While cleaning this, something different than what normally happened. This, I think it's a sticker that goes on the back of the speaker, was just chipping away. It's almost like, no, not almost. There are little pieces of glass. Yeah, there was just little pieces of glass all over on the inside of this speaker. Now we'll tackle the corrosion here on this battery post. Now that I'm happy enough with the battery post, we're going to address any other spots of corrosion that I find on the board before finally moving on to the polarizer. Yeah, there's these little pieces of glass. I am not crazy. This guy is bent and likely not making great contact. Definitely not making good contact. I'm just going to wipe this down because we've got a little bit of stuff going on. I just want to make sure that nothing has been corroded through and causing any issues with the sound. It is now time to tackle this polarizer. It's been a bit, so now I'll explain how you actually replace a polarizer. All you need to do is take a flat blade and very carefully lift the plastic away from the glass. Do not scratch the glass. You'd have to be a real idiot to do that. I think the best way to do this would be to remove the thin black rubber bit at the bottom of the screen, but I didn't because I lack critical thinking skills. Once you've removed the polarizer, you just have to make sure that you get all the glue and other debris off the screen. Just use some IPA and elbow grease for that part. I would recommend using cotton swabs and avoid using sharp blades for that bit. Makes it less likely you could scratch the screen. Not like I would know anything about it. Oh yeah, notice how the screen burn is still there? Me too. Turns out the front polarizer on this device was perfectly fine and I'm doing all this work for no reason. It's the rear reflective polarizer that was bad. You probably already know that from the title, but I'm an idiot, and I'm still figuring it out. That's the last thing we wanted to see. It's not the front polarizer. I was worried when I was finding pieces of glass. Oh no. Okay, we've got problems. So That's going to be the rear polarizer. And here I was foolishly thinking I may not need the shot glass today. So I had my wife watch Attack on Titan. She wants to write this book. She wants it in a steampunk setting. She was looking for inspiration, and I was like, I guess there's a little bit in Attack on Titan. Really, it was just bait. The whole point was to watch Attack on Titan. If you've seen it, you know. Had some complaints. Really didn't like Amir. You know the one. She didn't see that season 2 plot twist coming. She immediately had to rewind it, like watched it 3 times. If you haven't seen Attack on Titan, don't. Hey, do better than I did. This sucks. Oh my gosh. I am a fool, and I know nothing. We're pretty dang close. I'm going to finish the rest of this off camera. I'm going to go ahead and research replacing the rear polarizer, see if that's even an option, and go from there. Now that we got the screen as good as we're going to for the time being, and while we wait for that rear polarizer to come in, we're going to go ahead and start trying to troubleshoot the speaker. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to test if the speaker is any good. Since it is emitting sound, I suspect it is, but to do that, we just need to test what the resistance is on the speaker. 8 ohms is what we're looking for. I think that's fine, which if this was a bad speaker, it would mean that the capacitor is bad and we'd have to start looking there. But on a visual inspection, I haven't seen anything. So we can safely assume for the time being that the speaker itself is at least as operational as it's going to be. So the next thing that we do to troubleshoot is we take a look here at this volume control wheel. If this is dirty or has a bunch of corrosion, that can cause issues as well. So I can tell from the way that it feels that it might be a bit dirty. So to clean that, we're just going to take a little bit of contact cleaner and spray it in there. Now we'll work it in, and then I'm just going to make sure that any debris that's in there has been blown out as best I can. There was a lot of debris inside of this between the pieces of broken glass and the pieces of broken plastic, and then there is a little bit of corrosion as well. Next, we'll go ahead and address the small amount of corrosion that's here on the backside. You can see in here that we do have just a bit of corrosion. I'm going to go ahead and clean that away with a little bit of isopropyl alcohol. And we'll see how we feel about that when we're done. Sometimes even just a dirty audio jack can cause issues. So I'm just cleaning that out a bit. And while we're at it, I do want to see if I damaged anything on the screen. So we'll take a polarizer and see if anything shows up. Our screen is still in working order, but our speaker is still no good. So next thing that we need to do, since we've tested and we have isolated as best we can, I think it's time to go ahead and try to repair the speaker. So to do this, we're going to need a little bit of super glue. I've accepted I'm probably just going to have to replace this thing, and I've ordered a replacement already. But if I'm throwing it in the trash anyways, I might as well try to actually repair it. So here's what we're going to do. I am going to remove the diaphragm. To do that, I just have a flat head. I'm just trying to carefully push it up along the edges. Boom. The next thing that we need to do is we need to get, I think this is called the voice coil. Yeah, that needs to come out like that. So this needs to be glued back in place. So we're just going to take a little bit of super glue and apply it on here. Make sure that this coil is glued on to the diaphragm. Something like that. I'm just going to hold this in place for a bit until it feels like it's tacky enough that it can be on its own. There we go. And then apply some fresh super glue to hold the diaphragm in place. We're going to get all of this back where it goes. Just like that. And now we're going to wait. I'm going to apply a little bit of pressure just to make sure I have a decent contact around the edge of the diaphragm. And now we're just gonna let that dry. Once that's done, we'll test it. I'm not expecting that to work or sound good or anything of the sort, but I might as well try to fix it before throwing it out. No, no, no. Dude, what? Okay. I couldn't find a video of this anywhere. I did find a guide. It's linked down in the comments. And I figured, okay, if there's no video of this, I'm probably not going to be able to do it. And I mean, I did a terrible job, guys. There's glue everywhere. That's crazy. Well, I owe you guys a better video of that. Since nobody else has one, I figure I should get you guys one, because I can't be the only one that needed to see it. So we have another Game Boy. It's got a bad speaker. We'll do the same thing on that one. And yeah, that works. So now we just need the rear polarizing film and some luck, and that'll be it for the repairs on this guy. Here's what we're gonna do. I got the rear reflective panel in, so we can go ahead and replace this. I'm just gonna reiterate again that this is really stupid, and there's easier ways to get this console back in pretty condition, like just replacing this board altogether, or doing a backlight mod would be totally fine, or an IPS. You have a lot of options that are not exactly what I'm about to do. And even what I'm about to do it in a dumb way. So seriously, like, do it differently. But here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna remove these screws so that this screen is able to freely come out. I am then going to remove the rear polarizer without removing this ribbon cable. You should remove the ribbon cable. I'm playing with fire. You don't need to do this. But I've practiced removing a couple of these screens, and I kinda suck. So rather than risk ripping these traces off the board, I want to play it safe. Now let me show you why you should remove this ribbon cable. And that's about as much as we're going to get here. All right? You want any more space? You're going to have to like remove this ribbon cable. So this is dumb. This is a stupid approach. It's a stupid approach I'm doing. We're not backing down now. So just like on the front, I need to remove this reflective layer. So, oh my God, this is stupid. This is so stupid. Is peeling it giving me... Oh, peeling it is giving me much better results. I'm not getting any glue left behind. Okay. Ooh, be careful. We were putting a lot more pressure on that ribbon cable than I would have liked. But we are coming up. Whoo-wee! Baby! And there is our burnt polarizer. If you're going to go through all this work, do it the right way and just go ahead and like do a backlight mod for yourself. I mean, if you're a purist and you want everything OEM, all right, I get it. I mean, I'm over here trying to keep this as OEM as I can. So like, I get it. All right, so this is our replacement sheet. There's a shiny reflective side, and then there's a matte side. The matte side is the adhesive side, I'm pretty sure. I don't know. Anyways, so we're gonna cut this to size and then place it in. Hey, handsome dude. So we'll cut the new guy to size. All right, we'll get the excess out of here. Now, typically what you want to do, you can see I have a little extra sticking out. Typically what you want to do is you want to leave that extra on, apply your polarizer to the screen, and then cut away the excess that you have to. In this case, with how little space I have to work with back there, I think I'm better off trying to get it as exact as I can. I think that's probably good enough. So now, before we can put this in, I need to make sure that I get the adhesive cleaned off that screen. So we're going to bring him back over. Just don't scratch this, Matthew.
Just don't scratch this, Matthew.
Okay, this adhesive is coming up a whole lot easier than the adhesive that was on the front of the glass. All right, I think we're ready to apply this reflective layer. Voiceover mat, because the lawn care company decided to be directly outside the window during this time. But to get the polarizer in, I just gently lowered it into place. And then instead of using any methodology at all, I just immediately tacked it on there like it was a sticker and everything was going to work out right. Don't do it that way. Instead, start at the corner and slowly spread it outwards with a little bit of pressure. I do this on the front polarizer later. You'll get a good example then. But everything that you're seeing right now, terrible idea. Don't do this. Okay, so I've got some air bubbles that I need to address. This is probably going to take quite a while. All right, I think that's as good as I'll be getting it. So now, I just need to get this pad in place. I'd rather have a few air bubbles and the screen not be perfect rather than break the LCD. So this is what we're currently working with. So we're ready for our normal polarizer now. So to get the polarizer installed, we need to make sure that it has the right orientation. So we power the device on. We will turn this around until it looks correct. Now that we know that, we just need to cut this bad boy down to size. All right, don't judge me. This didn't go great for us, all right? You know, I do want to call out, I don't think this had any screen cancer when we started, but down there in the corner, there definitely is some now. So again, if you're going to do this repair yourself, don't. Learning from our past mistakes. I'm not going to let this guy... All right, we are not learning from our past mistakes. Be smarter than me. It's free. It's totally free. Yeah, I think it's gonna do it for us, Chief. This is what I was saying you should do when you apply these polarizers. Just tack it down on the corner, take a cotton bud, and slowly apply pressure outwards. You're not gonna have any air bubbles if you do it this way. If you just slap it on there the way that I did, you're going to have problems and you're going to be unhappy. Also, make sure that the surface is spotless before you do this. Otherwise, you end up with some of the imperfections that I had. I've realized this since, I didn't know it at the time, but the air bubbles on the back were caused by dust specks that I left there, and that's all me. Okay, cool. I made it worse. Yeah, this isn't it. We're going to have to redo it. I'm going to clean this better. I'm going to revisit these areas where the reflector just isn't cutting it for me. Super unfortunate. But look, it didn't meet my standard. So, as much as it sucks, and I'd really rather not do this, I've got to meet my standard. And sometimes you get rewarded for this, and sometimes you get punished. Sometimes you get punished.
Sometimes you get punished.
We're just going to fast forward through the rest of this because you guys have already seen the process. There's a couple differences. I do slowly apply pressure this time, making sure that I don't leave any air bubbles, and I do a more thorough job with cleaning, but it still kind of sucks. You cannot get this clean enough unless you remove the ribbon cable and have full access to the screen. When I do this again in the future, I will absolutely take the screen off so that I have better access and can do a better job. However, that being said, this did function at the end of the day, so I'm going to call it a win, but this is not up to my standard. And if there's a way that I could fix the damage that I caused, I absolutely would. But I don't have a way to do that I know of, so this is where the console sits today. Just know that I will be revisiting screens like this in the future, and I will improve. All right, this is what we're left with. It's not great. There's an air bubble there on the front polarizer, as well as one where that scratch is. The other air bubbles that you see and any other scratches you see, those are actually on the rear glass. And they're just imperfections in the glass. There really isn't much I can do about it. Unfortunately, it's damaged. It was damaged before we started. There was little bits of broken glass all over the place inside the shell from where it got damaged up here. I don't know if those imperfections that are circular are organic to the LCD or if I did that. I definitely did the scratches that are on the back panel. When I do this in the future, I will not be using a razor blade. I'm going to stick with just cotton buds. So it's time to get this guy reassembled. Let's do that. Let's make that a thing that we do. You get high score. I'll tell you what, it's not perfect, but in the viewing area, honestly, when you're playing, the scratches are fine. I mean, I wish it came out better, but you can play on this thing now. I'm super stoked. The sound is existent. The screen works. It's not got the terrible burn in. Guys, I'm happy with this. That being said, I need to do a whole lot better on this. So I'll probably buy some more Game Boys with the same issue and try to repair those without scratching the glass. If that's something you guys are interested in, let me know in the comments below if you'd want to see that. That being said, that's going to do it for this episode. If you enjoyed, leave a like, and if you'd like to see more just like this, please subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next episode. That's not what you want.